Hello, I hope you can hear me. My name is Nick Sigorinas. I am the director of the Institute for Data Science and Computing, one of the co-organizers of this event. I'm also the vice provost at the University of Miami for computing and data. So today I have the pleasure and the honor to introduce the next speaker. So the next speaker is, we're here for a treat. Our next speaker is the mayor of Miami-Dade County. I just want to highlight a few things about our mayor here in Miami. So she is the first woman who holds the office of the mayor in Miami-Dade County. I'm not so sure how many of you know that, but this is actually a great thing that we have the first woman mayor in Miami-Dade County, and we are very honored to have her here. I will say also a few more things about our mayor. And because we are in academic settings, I will start with some academic credentials that are very, very impressive. So she got her undergraduate degree from Yale University in psychology, and she graduated with honors. She also then went to Columbia University, where she got the law degree and a social work graduate degree. So these are some very impressive academic accomplishments for anyone. And here, since we are in an academic environment, I thought I would start with that, because we hold this pretty high in our universities. So the next thing that actually I would mention only a couple of things, because you are not here to listen to me, you are here to listen to the mayor. So I will try to make it brief, but I will bring a couple of things that I think that are important, and we all need to be, aware about the work that the mayor is doing in Miami-Dade. She's overseeing over 30,000 employees, and actually overseeing basically our region, which is nearly 3 million people. Right? So she's a big advocate of resilience. She's a very big advocate of adaptation into the climate change and so forth. She's appointed. Actually, this is some of the things that I find that is important amongst the other things that she's doing. Very critical is that she appointed the first Bay officer in order to protect the Key Biscayne. So this is an amazing thing to understand what our mayor is doing here in Miami. So I'm going to step out of the way now, and I will please welcome Mayor Daniela Levin-Cava.
Good afternoon. Okay, I know it's a long day. Good afternoon. All right. Well, anything smart, I like to go. So thank you very much for inviting me to Smart Cities. And anything that involves university research, that informs our policies, I'm all about it. I'm actually quite an advocate of community university engagement, have a long history with that, and of course we are so indebted to our academic institutions for partnering with us to solve these challenges. So thank you very much. I got just the tail end here of the last panel. Thank you so much, Anna, one of our stars in Miami-Dade County, and you have some other Miami-Dade County stars in the audience, and of course many, many partners. So, how we build a resilient future and how we continue to thrive. So, the great thing about South Florida, Miami-Dade in particular, is that people want to be here, and they are still coming and flocking and building. The crane is still the state bird. We're building vigorously, and the bad thing is that we really face huge challenges, but we have all these people and energy and businesses and academics and students who are really interested in helping us to solve these problems. So every problem, every challenge has an opportunity. That's the yin and the yang, and you all are at the front line of of that dealing with the challenge and coming up with the solutions, the opportunities. And I'm going to speak more broadly about the environment here in Miami-Dade particularly. The environment is our economy. So they're coming for the fun, the weather, the food, the dynamism. They're also coming for the 2 national parks and for our beautiful Biscayne Bay, our pristine environment, and it is so critical that we continue to invest, address, maintain, protect. So whether it's Biscayne Bay, the Everglades, whatever is the thing that you're particularly focused on, we need to focus on the needs of our natural environment. Clean air, clean water. I am the water warrior as well. That's one of my self-proclaimed titles. By the way, I got those academic degrees that really have little to do with what we're talking about here. I'm a born-again environmentalist, right? That was not my first calling. So I came to it a little later in life after basically spending all my free time in nature. So it was not the focus of my academic or my early advocacy work, which is around children and families. But over time, gradually, I got more interested in land use and planning and communities, and geared towards our existential issues around the environment. Now, as we adapt, we don't, by the way, only adapt, as was said, but we also mitigate. And I want to tell you proudly, the state of Florida is really not big on mitigation. But we have to do our part. And I'm so very proud that our very robust Office of Resilience in Miami-Dade County government has plans for everything, right? We have a sea level plan, we have a resilience plan, we have a heat and extreme heat plan, a bay plan, climate change plan. All of it plays together, and a big part of it is reducing our carbon footprint. So we are working overtime to do everything we can to bring in shore power at the port, to electrify our fleet, to increase our transit, to put more solar on our county buildings, to work with buildings, private buildings, and developers to be more energy efficient. So everything that we can do to meet our goal of 50% reduction in emissions by 2030 and 100% by 2050. So it's very aggressive and very necessary. So we have to be this aggressive because things are happening here that truly change the face of our community. I think the Miami Herald had yet another big story spread on it, how many inches of sea level rise there'll be. Oh, I think the article was solving sea level rise one garage at a time, something like that, pumping. Well, that's fine, we do have to do that. We also have to build smarter, and we also have to do our part to prevent the increase in temperature globally and rising seas. So I see that these challenges create huge economic opportunity, huge investment opportunities, entrepreneurial opportunities. And I think you're all in this room very familiar, many of you working on things that will make sure that we're using smart city technology to deal with resilience issues. So a few things that we're doing, I mentioned a few already, but I'm particularly proud we recently launched the Miami-Dade Innovation Authority. This is a nonprofit that will work alongside government and academic institutions to solve these pressing problems with technological solutions. And we are going to invest through this mechanism in seed grants to emerging businesses that can address climate, traffic, sea level rise, housing shortages, affordability issues, all of it. And then when these are proven, then we can procure them through our county coffers or other large institutions like this university to scale those solutions. And we've already been doing some of this. For example, we already hosted a technology startup, the Seaworthy Collective, that came out of the University of Miami. Thank you so much. Galen Troyer particularly was our lead on that. And looking for more places that we can partner with smart people doing smart things to create smart solutions for our environment. And as we do this, we hope we're setting an example for the rest of the country. And in many ways we are. Wherever I go, I get big kudos for how forward-looking we are, how far ahead of the curve. But we know we can't solve these problems alone as county government. We can put out the plans, but to actually take the steps, make the changes necessary, we have to do it together. So just as more examples, we have 28 county facilities going solar. That's a lot. I pushed hard on that. It's been challenging, but we're doing it. And our Building Efficiency 305 program has 120 private sector participants, businesses, 28 million square feet of floor space, and we just celebrated the third-year cohort, those that are really making a big impact and signing up. So we need more. We need more of these groups to sign up so we can get to those emission goals. Also, septic to sewer, to keep our bay clean, right? We've polled it. People don't necessarily understand about sea level rise or climate change, but they do know about dead fish in the bay, and we had a lot of them. And it really called people to account, and again, every problem creates an opportunity for a solution. So we have been on a tear on our septic to sewer conversions. We've brought down federal money, state money. We're doing local matches. Our program is called Connect to Protect. We've got, how many? 120,000 estimated homes on septic in the county. And I think about 12,000 that are the most immediately vulnerable. So we're aggressively pursuing those first, and as the sea rises, we'll pursue more to keep the nutrients out of the bay. And also we created a fertilizer ban to stop people from using fertilizer on their lawns and properties in the rainy season particularly. And we also are doing more monitoring of construction sites because they're dumping their stuff in the bay and also creating problems. We're working with our cities. We have 34 wonderful cities in Miami-Dade County. They are each of them taking actions on their own and in coordination. And together, we announced that we are part of the International Race to Zero in 2021, along with 4,500 other governments, businesses, investors, and academic institutions to get to our net zero. So I went to COP26 in Glasgow. I did not go to Egypt. Maybe I get to go to the next one. And we learned that nations are slow to commit and act. But local governments, we are here solving these problems every day. And we are getting more and more recognition and more inclusion because we really are the ones taking action. So we heard about the Chief Bay Officer. We also have a Chief Heat Officer, the first in the world, Jane Gilbert. They laughed at us a couple of years ago when we got started, but they're not laughing anymore. We actually have in Miami-Dade County the most days of extreme heat of any area in the United States. That might be a surprise, but it's not the temperature only, it's the temperature plus the humidity, and that means that our outdoor workers and recreation are really exposed to danger. And one solution that we're addressing actively is more trees. Like, look at this beautiful tree canopy here, right? UM gets it right, but we have committed to building a 30% tree canopy by 2030 in some of the neighborhoods that have the lowest tree canopy because they're low socioeconomic and those trees were cut down or they didn't have them. We also recognize that people need help with the temperature in their own homes. Not everyone has air conditioning. And even our own residents in public housing were lacking, many of them, air conditioning. So we added 1,700 units, wall units, high efficiency of air conditioning to help all of those in public housing who did not have them. So we have for the Bay, a Biscayne Bay report card. We call it the Blue Heart of Miami-Dade County. And Irela Vaguez, our Chief Bay Officer, she like Jane, these ladies, they really rock. And we have an advisory board. We're working also with the state. A lot has been invested to clean up our bay, and also the Everglades restoration, a key part. Fresh water needs to come into the bay to deal with excess salinity. That requires these investments in Everglades, and it requires us to not overbuild. We need to build high, not wide. We need to stop sprawl. We're now a world-class city. Changing these policies has come with some pain, but we are getting there. So in closing, according to a 2021 study by the Urban Land Institute, every dollar invested in climate and disaster mitigation today in Southeast Florida will save us $4 in disaster recovery later. So that's a four-fold benefit ratio, and truly shows that on the environment, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So we're doing our part to educate, to engage young people, people of all ages, all stripes. It's not just about our environment, it's also about our people and their livability. It's about our housing, making sure that we have access to affordable, safe housing, that we are promoting equitable jobs, social justice programming, and quality of life for all in this paradise that we call home. So we must be prepared, we must have the necessary resources, and not just focus on areas of privilege. And my 4 E's in my administration, 2.5 years in, 4 E's: economy, environment, equity, and engagement. And we've organized ourselves around those principles. That includes engaging with all of you. You're our key partners. So thank you very much for being on this journey with us, and look forward to working with you. Thank you. It says here that I'd love to answer some of your questions. Okay.
Please, any questions? Great. Any questions for the mayor?
I see a hand in the back.
Another one. Thank you.
Volume on this one off.
Hi, Mary Lula. Silvio here. Thanks for your work and your contributions. Just quoting, listening to the topic of conversation today, what would you say, from your point of view, is one of the greatest challenges to integrate or create or implement or move in the direction of creating a smart city, not just for Miami-Dade County, but piloting some of the others where you have Coral Gables and some other ones? Could you maybe highlight some of the challenges and thus opportunities of how we can actually move in that direction that you've experienced during your administration? Thanks.
So I'm going to start with equity. We have a huge divide. We actually have a broadband access initiative in the county. We know that without access to high-speed internet, you cannot take part in the economy today. And we still have so many others. We even have people who go to libraries' parking lots to be able to access the internet outside the walls, because we've gone into extending the reach so that people, even after hours, libraries have become the true community centers, the true equity builders. And by the way, there's a major community organizing effort going on by a youth-focused civic engagement group called Engage, that they're getting people out to libraries to get more support for libraries truly being that focal point. So I think equity, number one. Maybe after that, I think one of our challenges with all this new business growth and technology is making sure that those businesses are thinking about the community where they're based now, and making sure that they're hiring equitably, that they're looking at environmental factors, that they are in fact part of the solution, so that they're here not just to make a buck, but they're here and have a good time. Or as my grandfather used to say, make money, do good, and have fun. Yeah, you have to steer people, and people want to. They want to engage. They see the opportunity to make a difference, and we want to tap that energy.
One more question? Anyone?
Hello, so good to see you. I know that mental health is very much in your heart, and we did not discuss it today, but within the challenge of climate change that we have been discussing, that really amplifies, the anxieties of people. So would you like to talk about your initiatives in that front?
Thank you so much for the question, and thank you for your work in this area. So when I was trained by Al Gore to be a climate, what is the word? I got my little green pin many years ago. I chose to do the mental health path because I know if people are paralyzed because they don't know how to make a difference, they feel overwhelmed, then we can't move forward. And I think that is truly one of the major challenges for addressing moving forward. How do you tell the truth about the future and still create hope? And how do you give people a role where they can contribute? And I think we're seeing more and more examples of things that people can individually do, but we have to make it easier for them too. So now, for example, I've just added zero waste to my agenda. And we're putting together a zero waste action plan. We have a coordinator on zero waste. We have an opportunity because our waste to energy plant burned down. So now we have to rethink what are we going to do with all that waste. So how do people contribute? Well, people individually can compost. They can refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, right? All those things. But we don't make it easy. Do we have recycling bins here for this? We do. Yes. We do. Of course. When you look in those recycling bins, they're always filled with contamination. We have a horrible contamination problem for recycling here in this community. I saw an estimate that 40% of our waste is compostable. Imagine if we turned all that into fertilizer. So we have many, many things that we could do if we set up the support systems and educate and engage. And again, people will change their habits when something dramatic happens. They won't maybe necessarily otherwise do it. So we have a lot to accomplish. Social marketing, but again, making things easy. Wherever I go on vacation, I take pictures of the recycling bins. They do a really good job in Europe. I'm always impressed, particularly there. So that's just one example. But I think we have to give people things that they can do, and our young people are being more educated and are more aware. So, but we need to move faster.
Great.
Thank you, everyone. I see there's wine in the back, so other snacks, but I have to go, I'm sorry, but thank you so very much. If my team could just stand from Miami-Dade County to be recognized. These people are doing amazing work, so please talk to them and share your ideas. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor, thank you. Please join me and thank the Mayor one more time. Thank you very much. That actually concludes our program. So I had the best job for this conference, which was to introduce the Mayor. And now I have the toughest job is to follow up from the Mayor's talk, right? So without any further, I hope that I would like first of all to thank the Mayor again, our keynote speaker, Ben Kirkman as well. I also want to thank all the panelists and everybody who participated, and thank you all for staying here. And I know that I'm between you and the reception and the wine at the back, so I'm not going to say anything more besides a big thank you to our sponsors, WC, and all the people that they helped put this together. Evelyn, Jackie, Helen, Mitchell, Justin. So thank you all, and thank you, and see you tomorrow. We have one more day, starting at 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Thank you all for coming, and